Have you been? How's Pookie and them? Some of y'all like, who's Pookie? Who's him? Anyway, I pray that all is well in your world, in your life right now, in the life of your family. I know there's a lot going on in the world right now, and the reality is we have no control over it. God does, and I put my faith in Him, my trust in Him that with this and all other situations that I have no control over, I know He's going to work it out. Because I read somewhere that in the end we win. So I just wanted to drop in just to, see how you're doing and to give a word of encouragement, stir up a little thought of what's going on in your innards, in your mind, some places that maybe you hadn't thought about. And so my question or two for you today is, what is your worth? Not what they say you're worth. What do you think you're worth? Only you can answer that. Your worth. What is your worth? What do you think you're worth? You are worth dying for. That right there is like a drop mic kind of comment right there. But in right now, what is your worth to yourself? We can base our opinion on our worth by what Joe Schmo says, what our spouse, our children, the neighbor, our coworkers, even someone walking down the street who is rude. We can take all that into consideration, but the reality is what they think doesn't matter. But if you don't find your worth, it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad for you. So I challenge you to find your worth. I'm going to try to, here's another question. Who are you vulnerable with? These two can go together. Who are you vulnerable with? Who can you be vulnerable with? Who are you able to allow someone to be vulnerable with you? No one wants to feel like, no one wants to show others that we're not perfect, that we've got it all together. So we put up that front, like, hey girl, we got the smiles on, we're kicking it with our friends, we're on our family. But when we go home, we're reevaluating, overthinking everything that happened because we're second guessing everything, second guessing ourselves. I challenge you to take a look around in your circle. Who can you be vulnerable with? Who can you talk to about just about anything? I know those of us who are married, we clearly should be able to be vulnerable with our spouse. And sometimes that could be tricky because some couples will probably, I won't even say could never be vulnerable with one another because everyone's out doing their own thing, if you know what I'm saying. So we can't, I guess that's a bad example, but you should be able to be vulnerable with your spouse. And even in that could be a challenge because that's when the hard work kicks in for a married couple, when you can talk about some of the things that are going on in your life that aren't pleasing at all, things that you have thought about and have done maybe in your past. But at any rate, I don't even know why I'm going down that road. I'll just say you should be able to be vulnerable with your spouse. But what about your friends? What about your circle? Like, are you able to, other than just yak it up, can you chat it up about things that are hurting you, things that have about your past, about things no one knows about? Do you have friends like that? I'm not saying reveal all your hidden secrets, tell them where the bodies are buried and stuff like that. But those thoughts that you have that keep you up at night, can you talk to people like that? Things when situations are taking you to the edge, do you have someone in your life that's able to pull you back? Or do you have people in your life that are agreeing with you and like, girl, yep, I feel the same way you do, girl. I wouldn't let that, no. We need people in our lives that will encourage us, to help us to grow, inspire us. If you have nobody around you that can inspire you, encourage you, man, you better get out and get you another circle. Because I'm here to tell you, if you're about something and you have a plan and you aspire to do something and your circle is not in it with you, it's time to break the circle. You need to go find a box. Do you know what I'm saying? Find somebody over in the corner somewhere else that you can see them doing something. Be around people who are doing something that you want to do. Case in point, I'm starting this whole YouTube thing, and I just feel that I've been led to give words of encouragement, to challenge. It's a challenge to me too. And I have no idea what I'm doing. I have no idea. I don't know about the lighting. I don't know about the tripod, I got the phone thing down, and they're saying, oh, you need this, that, and the other. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing, but Lord will, it'll all work out in the end. And I say that to say, I have questions about YouTube, and I look at people who are doing it. And I'm not just talking about monetarily. I'm not in it for the money. I ain't gonna pass it up. But I'm not in it for the money. But I have a family member who is on YouTube. I don't want to throw her out there. I don't want to, whatever. But I asked her for information. Like, what about this? What about that? Just bouncing stuff off of her. Because she's where I want to not be, but she's going where I want to go. Do you know what I'm saying? So if I'm heading east, I want to go east. Should I really be looking at anybody going west? Right? I don't know. I just say get around people who are going to encourage you to do you. And if you feel that they're not doing that for you, it might be time to break that up. Neil Sedaka said breaking up is hard to do. It is. But you know what? Your self-worth is more than the breakup. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you. Because just because you may fail, it doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means you didn't get that right. He's a God of second chances and third chances and fourth chances. And we give up on that first time we fail. Man, you're missing out on so much. So much. Accept the fact that you have strengths and you have weaknesses. We all do. No one wants to show those weaknesses because everybody wants to be that strong person. But the reality is, on the inside, we are weak as, how do they say, a dirty dish rag. We just limp. We weak. But we play a good game. We put a good mask on. But the reality is, we all are broken somewhere. Some people's brokenness is visual. Some people it's hidden, and people don't realize what happens when other people go home at night, with or without a mate. So it's important to get around people that can uplift you, that you can. And here's the thing too, you can be an encouragement even when you are going through something. Case in point, I won't say on a daily basis, but quite often, um, with my job, I'm in and out of places, and I just some days I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't even want to talk to me, and that's the honest to God's truth. I have been known to put myself in a corner. I have put myself in the timeout. Like, enough is enough. I'm tired of you. I've put myself to bed. That's how big and bold I am. But there are days when, like, I will get in an elevator. I don't want to make eye contact. I just want to get to the floor. I don't want to talk. And then that one person when you get in, you're like, okay, great. That's not going to be a conversation because they got that look about them. And I'm like, okay, I got that look too, because I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk. And before you know it, I don't care if it's 1 floor, 3 floors, before you know it, they'll say something about my job. And then before you know it, I can tell you how many kids they have, and where it went wrong in their life, and why they're at the doctor's office, and why they're feeling, and before you know it, I have forgotten about what I'm going through, and now I am concentrating on giving words of encouragement to these people, and I enjoy that. I guess I don't know if that's an enjoyment. I enjoy that. Apparently, it's there for a reason. I feel that I'm easy to talk to, sometimes even when I don't want to be talked to. Some people don't read the room. They don't realize that I don't want to talk to them. Sometimes that happens at home. But hey, it be like that sometimes. But I say all that to say, being vulnerable, it's scary, but I think it's a necessary evil. There aren't but a few people in my life that I can be vulnerable with. I mean, legit vulnerable. Even when you know that what you're going through, they may not be able to per se handle it, but they're going to do their best, and sometimes it gets reciprocal. But then I would also say, do you find yourself being vulnerable or allowing people to be vulnerable with you? I do tell you, I can say this with certainty. Not everybody can take what you have to give, and not everybody can give what you have to take. I guess what I'm trying to say is, not everybody can handle what you're dealing with. But I believe that the Lord puts us in positions where He gives us what we need for the situation. And I believe that even in that elevator, as much as I don't want to be talked to, and I want to mind my own business, I want to look at anything but the person next to me, I'm there for a reason. People are placed in our lives for a reason. As sometimes it's a reason, sometimes it's a season. But a lot of times when I come out of those situations of me not wanting to be bothered, I get out of that reason. I get out of that funk, because here I'm going through A and B, but this person is going through C to Z. Do you know what I'm saying? So my little A to B, and I'm not saying my little A to B, but my A to B and their C to Z, that little word of even just hi or making that eye contact does it for them. So we never know. But I will say this, don't join people in their drama. Have them join you in your peace. How about that? And also, I would say, think about what you're thinking about before you talk about it. Sometimes your thoughts can be what is making you unhappy. Girl. And one more thing before I bid you adieu. I had a post a few years ago that I had posted, and it basically was something like, respect yourself enough to walk away from anything that no longer serves you, grows you, or makes you happy. If you aren't being treated with love and respect, check your price tag. That takes you right back to the worth thing. Maybe you've marked yourself down when in actuality you should have marked yourself up. I hear Louis Vuitton, they've raised their prices. Maybe you ought to raise yours. It's you who tells people what your worth is, not the other way around. Get off the clearance rack. Stop going to the back to find the deals. You are not a deal. You are a prize. And you belong behind the glass. And one more thing. Don't expect to see positive changes in your life if you stick around negative people. A positive attitude may not solve all the problems, but it will annoy enough people to make it worthwhile. With that being said, thank you for listening, and I pray that it touched you in some way. Feel free to like my page. Don't like it, comment, don't comment. Just know that I'm going to continue to do what I do. Lord will. If one person is touched in anything that I have to say, to God be the glory. Have yourself a good one until we see each other again, or till you hear me again and maybe I see you. All of that good stuff. Be blessed.